if you got a garden where you can pull stuff out of your garden, and if you got hot water, you can boil rice. And if you can boil rice and you got some veggies in the garden, hell, you're having Chipotle bowls where everybody else is
Right.
having boiled grass, boiled tree bark, and sawdust bread. So
Hmm.
it's just a matter of knowing what to do and how to do it. And that's the reason why I
Right.
posted on the Facebook page today. I mean, if you got a disaster kit, a bug out bag, have you taken it out and tried it yet? Do you know
Hmm.
what its capabilities are and where you might be short, where you need to boost it up a little bit? I mean, you can't
Hmm.
just buy equipment and never use it. If nothing else, go out
Right.
on your back porch and try some of it out. You don't want to be reading what do you call it, owner's manual in the middle of a damn disaster. You want to know what to do.
Right.
So I'm gonna stop there, Steve.
Absolutely. No, that's good. That's good. So let's go ahead and we just have, what time is it? We're at 8:30 now. If you all want, we can touch on food and water, or we can not food and water, but health and hygiene. Or we could save that for the next program. So you all let me know if you want to touch on that, or if you want to, hold it off for the next program.
Well, let me say this, Steve, and I'm gonna make the suggestion and see if you want to go that way, because your
Sure.
first three things that you want to do is going to be water, food, and then medicine. Your next three things, and this will be a matter of importance to you, is going to be communications. It's going to be electrical, whatever your electrical needs are, how you're going to supply it, and then some form of self defense. Because if you can't defend your preps, somebody's going to come and take it from you. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you want to go that way, we can. If you want to go with what you just said, we can go that way too. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's go ahead and go down that road. Just start us on off, and then we'll just pick it up from there.
Okay. Again, if the power grid goes down, your telephones are not going to work. Now, though, the phone lines that have the battery backups will give you 3 extra days. The cell lines that don't, you'll go down immediately. How are you going to communicate with people to let them know, hey, let's all meet at grandma's house or whatever? You know, the SHTF is happening. Let's bug out. Let's everybody meet up. I mean, how are you going to get the word to them?
Right.
And a lot of people are just going to have to just get up one morning and realize, well, TV doesn't work, the phone doesn't work, my car may or may not work. Well, there must be something going on. We must be being attacked. Could be cyber,
Hmm.
it could be EMP, but something's definitely going on. And until they see that, they're not going to know what to do. And then if they go to reach out to someone, how are they going to do it? Now, if you got citizen band
Hmm.
radios, you got GMRS, you got ham systems, and you have generators. And I would, if you're going with a fuel generator, I recommend a dual fuel system. That's a generator that will run off of propane as well as gasoline. So if gasoline becomes scarce, you can go over to the gas supply place and get you a tank of propane. And hey, you're powering your electronics and you're powering your microwave and stuff in your house. So a dual fuel generator is going to be better than just a plain gas or diesel generator. And if you
Hmm.
don't want to go with that, you have air turbines, which if the area doesn't get much air, that's not going to do you any good. Or you can go with solar systems. And a lot of solar systems are on sale right now. You can get them cheap, and some of them are willing to take monthly payments to pay them off so that they can sell the system. And you want to assess your electrical needs. How much do you need to power the microwave? How much voltage does the refrigerator take? Which a lot of them take about 750 volts. You don't want to overload your generator because you'll blow it. So you want to know the energy consumption of everything that you've got in your house, and you make a list of that so that you know how much stuff you can have plugged in. I mean, if you want to have movie night on Friday night and you want to plug in your TV to your generator, and run your DVDs for morale. Serve spaghetti dinner, which all you need for spaghetti is hot water and a
Right.
can of sauce, you know. And you got Saturday night dinner, I mean Friday night dinner, and you got Friday night movie to keep everybody's morale up. Uh,
Hmm.
Assess your electrical needs. Know what appliances that you want to keep running so that you buy a generator or system that will have enough power to it to be able to power those needs. And then communications, you need an alternate form of communications. When it comes down to food, you need at least two ways that you're going to cook food in the event that your stove is going to go down. Now, most people have a grill, but you can also get a propane grill, a little Coleman thing that would run you about $50 at a camping store. And they run off the little 1 pound Coleman containers that are propane. Now, if you run out of those little 1 pounders and you got those 20-pound things that you're running your gas grill on, and you buy that hose attachment, well, you can run your little Coleman grill, 2 burner grill, off of that 20-pound propane tank. And
Mm-hmm.
propane doesn't go bad like gasoline would.
Hmm.
So you
And
can
and
hold it for
and
years.
like you're saying, there are some grills. People really, have a survival tool just in their grills outside. Like you're
Mhm.
saying that they can hook that propane up to, and pop that hood open, and you got, everything basically that you need there.
If
Um,
worse, if
s-
worse comes to worse, you can stand up 4 cinder blocks on their ends, take the grill out of your oven, build a fire in between those cinder blocks, put that grill on top, and you can warm up some cans of stew or whatever, or cook some chicken noodle soup, whatever you got to do. But you
mhm,
need to have, like I said, two is one and one is none. Uh,
right.
you got to have alternate, at least two ways of how you're going to communicate, how you're going to cook. I mean, how you going to purify
Yeah.
water. You know,
Hmm.
two is one is none.
So,
So
as far as communication, would you advise maybe a family to get a set of walkie-talkies?
almost definitely. I mean, you're going to need it. And then you need to understand the walkie talkie can say on it 36-mile range, but that's on a
Hmm.
perfect day. And then you almost have to be in an elevated position to have direct line of sight for 36 miles to who you're with, because any buildings, any trees in between is going to knock it down. If it says 36 miles and
Mm,
you're in the city, you might only get 5 miles. And if you're in a
mm,
say the basement of a parking garage with all that concrete around you, you might barely reach the surface.
mhm,
So you need to understand how signals work. And like I said, this ain't a situation where you can wing it. Everything
mhm,
you don't know, somebody's going to get hurt. People are going to suffer, and they're going to turn to you for the answers. And you should
mhm.
be able to say, "Don't worry. As long as you don't see me get worried, you don't get worried. I got this." And
Right.
you just handle it. But the walkie talkies, CB radios, if you got to reach out a long ways, a ham system will probably be the best thing to have. But I'm not looking to reach out long. Anyone I need to get in contact with is going to be local. So a good set of walkie talkies or a base station in my house is more than sufficient.
Mhm. And I wanted to say too, it's that once again, we're talking about technology failing us, and these cell phones are one of the things that may fail us. And so I think that we should at least commit one or two numbers to memory of family. And, we should definitely have a telephone number of a family member that might be out of state. Uh, over our phone, just in case you have a tornado that comes through, or if you live in some areas where they suffer from hurricanes, that you might have to evacuate the area. Because we know Gavin Newsom out there in California, he's had, individuals who have had to evacuate their homes because of the wildfires. So, one of the things I think we're going to be touching on definitely in upcoming programs are to go bags, and how we can prepare them and what we should put in them and so forth. Um, Mr. Sanford, did you want to say anything to that?
Just real quick, how you talked about, having the generator and the grill and those things, very important. Also, you know
Mhm.
what? make sure you can secure those things where they stay with you too. Uh,
Mhm.
I'll go back to COVID again. Uh, on when we had a power outage one time, a friend of ours came outside. And it was two guys trying to walk off with his generator.
Mm.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think when you do this, you need to have some kind of idea how maybe you can secure these things to the ground some kind of way. Um, and later on in another show, we'll talk about actually some physical protection for these things. But you need to keep in
Yeah.
mind that you got to secure these things. You may have to hide these things. Um, I know there's a radio system, but it's no good if the power grid goes down. But it's called Rapid Radio that's recently
Mhm.
come
Mhm.
along, and man, I mean they can go all across the country. That's if the power grid is up though. And like you said before,
Right.
walkie talkies are essential, and to have some. And Aaron makes a great point. We have to understand the limitations of all these things that we're looking at too. But while
Mhm.
doing those things, we need to have all the things that make those things operate. Do we have extra battery supplies? Uh, and do we have a? We may take a car battery and utilize the car battery to supply power for those things. All
Mm.
those things have to be. They have to have some kind of way of functioning. So as you get those things, you need to keep in mind what it's going to take to make those things function. You know.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you bring up some good points. So one of the things that I wanted to ask off of both of what you all were saying is how dependable, because like you said, the generators are pretty loud, but now that they have these solar power generators, are those comparable, or do you think you should definitely have a gas powered generator?
Two is one, one is none. I got one of each. I'm gonna tell you this.
We should have
In the
known. We should
essential,
have known.
yeah, in the essential beginning, I will run off my solar and save my gasoline for winter because my electric needs are going to be higher in the winter time than they will be in the summer. Plus, the solar doesn't give off any noise that people can hear. I want to come and ask you, can they borrow your system? Then later they're going to come and try to take it from you. It's totally quiet.
Mhm.
Uh, if you can survive the first 90 days, there's going to be such a massive die off of people that your neighborhood would thin out, and then you can bring that other generator out and start running it and not fear the big mobs that might show up. But I'm going to tell you this: China announced that if they go to war with the United States, they've got the means and ability through cyber attacks to shut down our water, our power,
Mhm.
and our communications. And with water,
Mhm.
they're going to attack the water treatment plants and bring them to a halt. So right there, that
Mhm.
would tell you I got to be able to cover water. I got to have the means to communicate with my loved ones, and I have to have a source of power because the power grid is going to go down. And what am I going to do?
Mhm. Absolutely. Those are all good points because I think that when you look at the Microsoft incident that with the I forget what the name of that company was that they had allowed to monopolize. And I think
Right.
that that's where America has put itself in a very, very vulnerable situation because it's allowing these companies to monopolize, and that in and of itself is where the vulnerability comes in. Not so powerful, the most powerful weapon is also the weapon that if it's taken from you is going to be your weakest point. And so I think that one of the things that we definitely need to do is look at alternative ways to keep things going just in case the power goes out. And when we're talking about sheltering in place, and I know this is far from the food and everything, but we should make our home an environment of peace. We should make our home
Yep.
someplace where if we're stuck inside, do we have board games instead of the video games? Do we have
Right.
books instead of movies? Do we have, you know what I'm saying, ways that we can entertain ourselves and entertain our children if we do have children in the home? Um, Man, brothers, I would love to go into the food and water, but I think that if we can just do a part two of this, and of course, we'll move on to other topics besides just sheltering in place. But I think maybe if we can do a part two of this and maybe begin to wrap that up in the near future, that would be great because I think we really covered a lot of good things as far as when it comes to sheltering in place and what type of food and water and how to store it. We all touched on. Um, with that, I want to just ask if you all have any closing words, and we'll begin to just close it on out.
Well,
Well,
I'll
go
you
ahead,
go ahead,
sir.
Aaron.
Okay,
I was going to
go
say
right
a
ahead. Okay.
well-planned shelter is a safe shelter. We prepare
Mhm.
well today so that we can live well tomorrow. And I'm a stop there.
And what I'll say is what you just said, brother Steve.
Yes.
You know, they got a saying, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. When you talked about the ability to find alternative ways to communicate with each other in the home or just some social things to do, I didn't realize how many people got messed up just the ideal of it when COVID happened. And I think
Mm,
finding a place of mental stability and finding
mm,
a way to deal with that is so important. So you think, so you shall be.
hmm.
So I think everything, as my good friend Rick Poole says, it all starts in the think box. So
Yes, it
I
does.
think how we think, uh, along with the praises from the Most High, will help put us in the direction we need to go. But we need to make sure that we're in a place where we are mentally able to do what we have to do to make it.
I definitely agree with that. That's an excellent way to close it. And even though I'm a Muslim, I love this Christian phrase of building that personal relationship with your Lord and Savior. That is so key. I
Yeah,
think that when we look at the Palestinians and what they're suffering over there in Gaza, one of the most beautiful things, even out of that tragedy that I see and hear out of them, is that they still say, if it be the will of God, or God, please help us, or it's
yeah,
people who have been through a lot, and sometimes when you go through traumatic situations like that, you may give up hope on a God, and to still hear that coming from them, it's just a beautiful thing, and it's inspiring, because we're going to have to maybe not go through that what they're going through, but we got some very turbulent times ahead. And so, with that, I want to thank you all for coming on to the program. And we look forward to doing many more programs with you all. This is our first one. And so we'll be able to look at it and tweak it and see what we like and see what we don't like, and, move forward to making it an excellent show where people can come and they can get news and information on survival tips, disaster preparedness, gardening. I mean, there's so much that I just want to talk to you all about on this subject. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this on out. And I wanted to first let people know about my book. My book is called The Inescapable Famine. And America right now is being hit by all of the elements that bring about a famine, every last single one of them. And so it is very important for you to take a lot of this information that we talked about on this program and begin to implement it. And also check out my book. You can go on to Amazon and you can type in Inescapable Famine, and I'll have that both in a ebook and a softback. And with that, I would like to leave you all as we came before you in the greeting words of peace and blessings. May God continue to bless you and your family with the light of truth and understanding. Take care.
take care.
All right, now in